Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Bedtime with Tomi. This evening we are reading chapter 28, Clara's Point of View. Clara didn't know what to expect as they explored the Trocadero area. It was an electric feeling, seeing the Eiffel Tower rise over the city in the distance. It seemed surreal to experience such an icon in person. Amanda squealed in delight and hugged her tightly. I can't believe he had a custom pendant made for you. Have you tried calling him yet? Clara checked her phone again. Her home screen still showed no alerts. The second we left the shop, but he's not answering. He might be in a meeting. She tucked her phone into her purse and sat on the leg of her new knee scooter. After taking a dozen photos of one another, they made their way over to the landmark's entrance. Their timed entry tickets allowed them to explore the belly of the Eiffel Tower, 30 minutes before they would be able to take the elevator to the top. They entered the security queue, joining the sea of tourists chatting in a lively manner in multiple languages. "Pardon, madam." A man in a white t-shirt and jeans approached them with a woman and two kids. "Can you take our photo?" He held out his phone. "Us too." Another couple walked up behind the family and headed straight for Amanda. "I really can't say no. That would be rude. What do you want in the background?" She moved her handbag behind her. "Here's fine." Clara tapped the phone screen so it was in focus. On 3. 1, 2, and 3. She clicked the white button. The kids ran up to Clara as she passed the camera back to the man. "Is this a toy? Can I try?" Their parents clapped their hands together. The kids ran back to them. "Thank you," the man said, and hastily jumped out of the line. The couple that Amanda had helped also walked away quickly. "That was interesting." She glanced at Amanda. The kids thought, "See, your purse, it's open," Amanda exclaimed. Clara's pulse increased. Her hand scrambled for her purse. "I thought I had closed it." Glancing inside, she gasped, "My phone, my wallet, they're gone." Both women looked in the distance, spotting the 4 adults and 2 children interacting with another family. Clara clenched her teeth together. Everything of value she owned had been in those 2 items they'd taken. Pushing off with her good foot before Amanda could stop her, Clara took off on the scooter. "Hey," she shouted, attracting attention. "Somebody, stop them." She pointed in the front of her. "They're pickpockets." The group of thieves froze when they heard Clara's voice. She watched the color drain from their faces. Dozens of eyes turned to stare. They took off running. "Arrêtez, stop," she called out, both in French and English. She was gaining on them until the wheels of her new scooter hit the grass, abruptly getting stuck. She gripped the handles tightly, fighting to stay upright. She pounded her fist against her thigh. "Darn it." "Clara," Amanda cried, "let them go. It's not worth it." Her friend rushed over, panting. "Are you all right?" "Fine." Anger surged through her body. How could she be so foolish to let her guard down? All she wanted to do was to be nice and help the family out, but instead they'd taken advantage of her. She groaned. "All my photos from the trip, my passport, my credit cards, it's all gone." "It'll be okay," Amanda said, comfortingly, touching the small of Clara's back. "I know it sucks now, but we'll figure this out. I've been pickpocketed twice. Once in Spain and once in Rome. The first thing we needed to do is find a police officer and file a report. Then we'll call your credit card companies and put a freeze on your cards." Her head was beginning to ache. David's phone number was in there too. I didn't have it saved in any other place. I have it on my phone. "I'll give it to you later." Amanda tapped her belt bag. "The couple got my spending cash, but nothing else." Clara swallowed hard, feeling guilty for not asking about her friend. "Okay." Suddenly, as if out of thin air, 3 men dressed in suits as 3 men dressed as tourists appeared, moving with an air of importance. One of them wore a blue and white English Premier League football jersey, and the second a green polo shirt, and the third in a white button-up shirt. The man in the white collar approached them first. "Miss Little, Miss Collins, are you okay, ladies?" His voice was calm and reassuring. Clara gripped Amanda's arm. "How do you know our names?" Her voice came out shaky. The man in the white shirt exchanged a glance with his colleagues before explaining. "We were hired to ensure your safety during your trip to Paris, Miss Little." Clara's anger began to simmer as realization dawned upon her. "David hired you without telling me?" "Technically speaking, ma'am, we're not at liberty to discuss the details of the arrangement. You and Miss Collins were never supposed to know we were tracking your movements, unless it was absolutely necessary." You've been following us the whole time? Clara's frustration grew, her voice sharp as she retorted. I can't believe you didn't trust me to handle my own safety. This is ridiculous. Amanda stepped in. Clara, maybe David wanted to make sure we had a worry free trip. I'm sure he did it, but that's not the point. By hiring a security team without telling us, I can't help but feeling he doesn't trust me. We're big girls. We can take care of ourselves. Clara heard the sound of a phone ringing. The man in the football jersey excused himself. Miss Little, I apologize we weren't able to react and get to you any quicker. The man in the white shirt held out his hand. I'm afraid we were only able to retrieve your mobile phone, not your wallet. She took the item and hugged it to her chest. Thank you. Some of the tension fled her body. At least she'd still have her photos. She'd never forget to back up her phone again. The man in the blue football jersey cleared his throat. Miss Little, I have our boss. He'd like to speak to you. Tell him I'm not in the mood to speak to him. I have other things I need to do first. She huffed and caught Amanda's eye. We need to go file that police report. Would you like to give us a ride to the closest station? The man in the white shirt asked. Yep, Amanda answered. If we're going to be following us anyway, we might as well make this easier for everybody. Clara was left with mixed feelings. On one hand, she felt gratitude that David cared that much for her safety, but on the other, she was annoyed by his lack of trust. One little conversation is all it would have taken. That's it. He can't be my protector forever. I'm not in London anymore. I'm in the real world, where sometimes bad things happen. If he wants to be part of my life, he's gonna have to learn to accept that. Later that afternoon, back at the hotel, Amanda offered to run and grab dinner from the restaurant in the lobby. Neither felt like venturing out again after the excitement of earlier. Clara sat in the chair on the outdoor balcony. She held her phone tightly, her knuckles white as she dialed David's number. After a few tense rings, he finally answered. David, we need to talk. She tried her best to keep her voice neutral. Claire Bear, please tell me you're okay. I've been worried about you and Amanda all day. It's taken everything in me not to jump on the first plane out to Paris. You don't need me to answer that, after all. I'm sure you're receiving regular updates from me about from your security team. Clara Bear, David replied cautiously. I know you're none too thrilled about the team. That is the understatement of the century, Clara snapped, her voice laced with resentment. How could you not tell me? There was a pause on the other end of the line before David responded. I didn't want you to worry. Please understand. I did it because I care about you. Paris is a dangerous city. Look at what happened this afternoon. Petty crime can happen anywhere at any time. Yes, but it didn't happen to anyone. It was you. David, look, Claire Bear. I'm trying hard to be understanding. I apologize for not telling you, but I'm not sorry for being concerned about you or for having a team there. I'd do it again in a heartbeat. Once you get used to them when you're back in LA, you'll find it really isn't so bad to have... What? Security in LA? David sighed. I was waiting for you to be a little more level-headed before we discussed it. No, you've done it again. Her nostrils flared. There's no discussion because it's not going to happen. Clara, his voice was cracking. Answer me this. Have you already hired the guys? Yes. Then this conversation's pointless. Her heart was breaking. I can't be with a man who doesn't value me as an equal partner, or a man who makes decisions for me. There isn't any room for secrecy in our relationship. Clara, I'm sorry. I am too. I really thought... Well, forget it. A few tears began to leak out of the corner of her eyes. So that's it? Just like that? Yeah, are you breaking up with me? I guess I am, she sniffled. I know you're angry and that we both need time to cool off. If this is what you want, I'll step aside. You're a very special woman. I respect you and I love you. You've captured my heart and you're the only woman it will ever belong to. You have my mobile number. All you have to do is say the word and I'll be by your side in an instant. The waterworks begin to flow. Goodbye, David. Goodbye. She disconnected the call. Her body shook. Her phone fell to the ground. It was the right thing to do. Why did it hurt so much? Clara's heart was no longer in the mood to enjoy Paris. Going through the motions with Amanda, she tried to put up a strong front. The remaining 2 days passed in the blur. It was time for her to return home and back to her life in Southern California. I'm not ready to talk about it, Clara said tiredly at the airport before her flight. Amanda took a deep breath. Okay, I'll leave you be, but holding your emotions in is not healthy. I know. Clara gripped the arms of her crutches tightly. I just need time to sort through everything that's happened. When I'm ready, you'll be the first person I call. I made sure the gate agents and cabin crew knew to give you the VIP treatment. Amanda wrapped her arms around her bestie and hugged her tightly. Let me know when you get home. I'll be a couple hours behind you. I have to do a stopover in Dublin. I will. Clara's 11-hour flight from Paris to LA gave her time to reflect on how much her life had changed in 3 weeks since the gala. She danced on the stage of the Westminster Ballet, had met a prince, injured her foot, and as a cherry on top, she'd fallen in love. Her life was beginning to sound like one of those predictable holiday romance movies. If it's all for the best, I'm not the type... It's all for the best. I'm not the type of girl who'd be Duchess material anyway. All I've ever done my entire life is dance. Without it, I have nothing. We're from 2 different worlds. How would our relationship have gone anyway? The long distance thing would have been too difficult to figure out. Clara made herself a mental checklist. She needed to reestablish her own routine and start getting back into dancing shape. She was a soloist and had an example to set at LABT. She also couldn't risk giving Artemis another reason to push back the start of her new contract. Tomorrow, I'll make an appointment with the company doctor and see if this cast is ready to come off. Once I'm in a walking boot, I can start some physical therapy. And that's the end of chapter 28. The breakup chapter. Sad. But, you know, in a romance, it's a necessary evil, unfortunately. They have to be apart so we can bring them back together. And it's something I tended to shy away from, the breakup part, that is, in some of my newer novels. But in my first one, that was part of the formula I thought I'd follow. The pickpocketing thing is very prevalent in those cities that I mentioned, so Paris, Rome, and Barcelona, Madrid, and Spain. I was pickpocketed myself by a group of kids. There's 2 big scams, or 3 big scams rather. The first is these families will do the photos just like that. The second is a lot of people ask you to sign things with clipboards, and the third is like there's these cup games that are by the Eiffel Tower or the larger tourist areas, and all of these are intended to distract you while they expertly slip their hands inside your bag and take whatever's there of value. A lot of times you don't feel it. It happens so quickly, and it's never who you'd suspect. So a lot of times it's these kids. My passport wasn't stolen. I was very lucky. I only lost some petty cash like Amanda. But in the event that your passport or documents are ever stolen, it's always good to carry a photocopy of it with you, and then you do have to file a police report and try to get a new emergency passport at the embassy. A couple of times I've traveled, I've seen this happen to people, unfortunately. I wish crime wasn't such a big thing. It's true not just in Europe, but pretty much every major city except maybe in Tokyo. Another story for another time about my wallet being returned to me with more money than I actually had. But again, another story for another time. In the meantime, I will leave to figure out what will happen next to you. You can read ahead or just wait for the next video. Have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you guys soon.